Hello everyone, my name is Chuck and I would like a moment of your time to talk about trays. If you've watched the latest Let's Plant episode, you've probably seen me talking about these trays. Nothing really special about them, they are just the regular trays that you might see in your Bunnings, eBay, Home Depot, or whatever equivalent in your country. Now, in Bunnings, they are being sold as, they're labeled as propagation trays. On eBay, I see them being sold as seedling trays. They are more or less the same. Basically, it's your standard tray. It's this high. I'm not sure how, I haven't really measured them. But from what I know, one of the dimensions here would be 35 centimeters. Probably the length. Length or width, whichever. But it's your standard tray. Now, this is your standard tray, but I find them very useful, so I'm going to walk you through the 5 different ways that I use them. Number 1, I like to use them as is. As you can see, I just placed soil inside the tray and planted my pops in it. Nothing really special, but it's really nice. The reason I like doing this is because they save me a lot of space and they save me the effort of having to repot or replant them in individual pots. Because I'm sure you could imagine how annoying it is to empty a pot, replant it again, fill it up with soil, place the pop, and yeah, the whole thing can be tedious. But otherwise, if I just plant them here and I know that I'm not going to sell them with a pot anyway, especially since in my shop a lot of people are ordering from interstate, so I have to send them via mail, via post. So it's a lot more convenient for me to just pull them out from this tray, remove the soil, and plant another pop in their place. So yeah, number 1, planting directly. My second use for this tray is as a means of organizing my pots, and I have them like so. As you can see, I've got lots of tiny pots all just crammed inside this tray. Having them in a single tray like this makes it a lot easier to transport them, which is why I have a lot of these trays. And in my case, this is usually part of my sales workflow. So if someone places an order in my plant shop, what I do is to gather the plants, place them in a single tray. That represents the order. And yeah, it makes it a lot easier to move them around. Organizing pots. Number 3, organizing seedlings. So you might be able to find something like this. This is a seedling cell. This particular one is a 5x6 cell, so there's 30 seedlings that would fit in here. And the way that they are sized, the dimensions of this seedling cell perfectly fits the tray. They are made for each other. So you could just place it like so on top of the tray and voila. The advantage of having something like this is that seedling cells, they have huge holes at the bottom, and of course soil, sand and stuff, your usual seedling mix would just fall through the holes. But if you place them in a tray with smaller holes like this one, it would prevent a lot of the soil from falling out, and yeah, it makes it a lot easier to carry them. So seedlings. I think the next one is not much different from the previous one, but you could have punnets. These are rectangular punnets, and I've been using a lot of these at the very beginning for growing seedlings. I've also been using this to grow some of my leaf propagation. So I just place them in here, fill it with soil, and lay them on top of the soil. And these are nice little containers which I can move around, of course. And like the previous method, I can fit them squarely within this tray. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 would fit perfectly inside the tray. Really good. The next use again is very much like the previous two, only this time we're dealing with square pots. So I'm pretty sure you've seen pots like these where, you know, square pots are very nice because they occupy the least amount of space. You could just have them arranged in a grid, and you could already imagine something like this happening. So I have them arranged in a grid inside this tray, and there's 5x4, there's 20 of the square pots with a little bit of space to spare, which would make it easier, you know, if I just pull them up as opposed to have them very snugly arranged inside like the punnets earlier. So yeah, they perfectly fit within this tray. So it's pretty much another way to organize your mess. So that's pretty much it. Those are 5 ways you could use the seedling trays or propagation trays. And you might be able to think of more. So if you do know more ways to use them, just lay them down in the comments. And I am aware that there are larger trays such as this one, which might be able to fit 2 of them, or at least it seems to. But they are very tight. So if I take this, it is the perfect height for one tray, but I could not fit two of them side by side. You know, they just fit, but with a little bit to spare. But of course, as an alternative, you could have one tray here and a bunch of the square pots around on this side. So that still works. Another way to organize. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.